Hello everybody, it's Ben Fung with UpDoc, and today we're really excited to share with you the initial response impressions of the Corporate Quality Index. So what's the Corporate Quality Index? What's the CQI that you might have been hearing about? It's a multidimensional look at a corporation's quality as recommended or impressioned by the workforce and their willingness to recommend it to their colleagues and consumers at large. Here at UpDoc, we decided to create CQI due to an outcry. There was a lack of transparency, there's a lack of meaningful metrics, and a general lack of action levers for management and for decision makers to be able to create change within their organizations. Now, a quick disclaimer, today's video just covers the first week of responses. So what did we discover after the first week of survey responses? Well, number one, we need to do a way better job at instilling ownership mentality, at managing mediocrity, and holding on to our employees. In fact, there is an entire section about intention to stay. And just from the initial response, there's gonna be a really scary turnover phase coming in the next 12 months. Number two, speaking of intention to stay, there is a very high correlation between an employee's willingness or intention to stay for the next 12 months and their impressions of the workplace culture. And this should come as no surprise. Part of the UpDoc Industry Report series is the Talent Acquisition Report. And from the very first edition, we knew that talent was very much attracted to staying at organizations they felt a personal connection with the workplace culture. While they might say yes for the initial salary or compensation package, the culture is what gets them to stay. Number three, managing mediocrity and ownership mindset are very much interlinked. Again, from a philosophical standpoint, this shouldn't really come at a surprise, but it was really interesting to see this play out. We wanted to measure what we're calling a tolerance to mediocrity and pit that against the positive aspect, which is encouraging the workforce to take ownership of this company that they're a part of. Sadly, both of these ranked at the lowest aspects of the entire CQI survey. And it's really quite concerning as we'll see this play out, because it's not just that we're bad at promoting people that are excellent, we're also kind of bad at coaching up people that really need it. And number four, continuing from number three really, is there's a lack of meaningful action levers for management to be able to deal with these things. And if you've been following UpDoc for any length of time, you know that we love objective data and pairing it with narrative input. We've found that on a lot of surveys out there, just kind of in an industry agnostic sense, there might only be one or two data points. You know, this is part of why we're doing the CQI, is there's a lot of other platforms out there, but they only allow for one dimension of feedback. Is this organization good or bad? But it doesn't really tell you if you scored it good or bad, why. And that's what the CQI is diving into. And pairing with that is some impressions we've seen from our practice management reports. Is as much as we have passionate and engaged practice management, and they really want to be able to promote those that are excellent, they lack the tools and sometimes they lack the corporate policies to empower them to do this. And hopefully through the CQI, we will be able to identify some very specific, meaningful action steps to be able to take the first right steps into promoting the excellent, as well as coaching up those that might need it. Finally, number five, we're in a pandemic. 2020 has been rough. And we've received a lot of feedback here at UpDoc from concerned colleagues that have said the pandemic has really laid bare the efficiencies and inefficiencies of where they're working. And if we're really that bad at promoting the excellent while maybe managing or performancing out those that just might need a little bit of remediation, that's not just a concern for us as professionals, that's a concern for the people we serve as patients, where in healthcare, life is literally on the line. Now, one encouraging surprise that we did see with this initial scooping of responses was that salary and benefits were not scored at, the bottom rung. Apparently, while we may not have that many promoters of how well we're paid as healthcare workers, there weren't as many results as expected that, hey, we're paid practically nothing and this is unacceptable. There's certainly room for improvement, and we hope to be part of this. So what does all this mean? Well, first off, we'd like to encourage you to contribute to the Corporate Quality Index if you haven't already. And if you have, We encourage you to continue to contribute. Just like our other open source data pools like the Job Market Pulse and the Payer Info Pool, the Corporate Quality Index will only grow and grow over time so we can trend for meaningful change and for meaningful progression. The other thing too is we encourage you to contribute not just for your current organization of employment, but for past ones and future ones down the road. We'd like to see where the whole gambit is, not just to give us a snapshot over time, but to create both depth and breadth of the data for the CQI. Corporate quality is the foundation of careers, where people can find meaningful work and rewarding jobs that they can grow into and upwards for the organizations that they're with. Creating this as a growing new normal is part of the reason we launched the Corporate Quality Index here at UpDoc, and we hope that you would join us on this journey and become part of this movement. Thanks for joining me. I'm Ben with UpDoc, and I'll see you at the next one.